everyone, this is Kathy, aka the Healthy Canuck, and I want to talk to you today about weight loss and what sort of worked and what didn't work for me in the past and what is still working for me today to keep me on track. At one point in my life, I was 350 pounds. I woke up today at 130.8. What an accomplishment, right? So let's start with this. This was me with my wonderful mother on what should have been the best day of my life, but it really wasn't. I was having problems breathing, I couldn't stand, I had to take all of my pictures sitting down. I couldn't walk, my knees were killing me from being 350 pounds. But the funny thing is, I didn't even realize it was such an issue at the time. I was just eating, living my life, not really thinking about it. And that's funny because that's what a lot of people say, is they don't really realize it's a big deal. And then one day they just wake up. And my awakening came when I was bent over, struggling, trying to tie my shoes. I couldn't even bend over properly. And I happened to glance up at my mom, and the look in her eyes, it was just heartbreaking. It broke my heart to see her looking at me like that. Just such worry and sadness. And that's when I realized maybe I need to make a change. Maybe this isn't good. And my mom is worried about me, and I want to make her happy, and I want to put her mind at ease. So what I did is the very next day, I started researching. I went online, I learned about different foods to eat, what not to eat, what nutrients are good, what vitamins can help you out, and I just started putting it together piece by piece, and eventually I started doing low carb. And guys, it really, really works. At the time I was doing it, it was called Atkins, but it's also been called the South Beach Diet or keto. Keto's the buzzword today. And I actually have a good link for a custom keto program in my links below that might actually really help you get started. It's an 8-week plan. Take a look at the end of the video and see what you think. Maybe it might be for you. So you might be wondering, okay, well, what is low carb? So low carb is anything that doesn't have a lot of simple sugars in it. And things that contain simple sugars are breads, pastas, donuts. Chocolate has a lot of course, carbohydrates, anything under sugar. And when you go low carb, you put your body into a state called ketosis. And what that basically is when your body has depleted all of its energy that it can get through sugar, it switches over to burning fat. And that is great because the more fat you burn, of course, the more weight you lose and the better you start to feel. Now, I wouldn't stay in ketosis for a really long time because it can be hard on your kidneys. So a good rule of thumb is to stay really low carb, 25 grams up to 50 at the most. And after a couple of weeks, carb load for a day. And what I mean by that is, no, don't get the donut, don't eat the pasta, have some chickpeas, some potatoes, even some brown rice. And after a day of that, go back to the low carb because it takes your body a couple of days to switch back into ketosis anyway, so that'll give your liver a nice rest. So what are low carb foods? Well, we've discovered, or we talked about the foods that are high in carbs. So lower foods would be meat, eggs, anything with a fair amount of fat or protein. And when the low-fat craze came out in the 80s, that's exactly what happened. And this has definitely contributed to the obesity problem of today, is when they took out the fat from food, they loaded it with sugar to replace the flavor. And that's why we are where we are today. And other foods, okay, so meat, stay away from the packaged sandwich meats, even the stuff that says nitrate free, because there is evidence that there are still nitrates in in that food, in the way they process it. So you want to stay away from anything heavily processed. My rule of thumb is avoid as much as you can from a box. Shop the perimeters of your grocery store. Get some milk, some vegetables. Vegetables are great. Root vegetables such as, again, potatoes, carrots, parsnips can be a little bit higher in carbs. So if you're just starting out, stick to lettuce, celery, tomato, stuff like radishes. If you're really, really struggling, some berries are good. I would try to stay away from a lot of fruit though, because fruit is fructose and it goes right to your liver. So blueberries especially are pretty good. They're full of antioxidants. Raspberries are good. Some strawberries if you're really struggling, but try to keep them at a minimum. Maybe have a handful of berries. And what I mean by handful is this part of your hand, not this part of your hand, okay? So just some good pointers. And now that I've reached my goals, I'm a little bit more generous, but I still stay away from any of the bready type things. I eat some yogurt with bananas and peanut butter in the morning, or I'll have some eggs and some potatoes to get carbs. If you're gonna have carbs, have them first thing in the morning, and then you have a chance to burn them through the day. For lunch, I'll have some cottage cheese and a salad with some Italian dressing. I tend to stay away from the really creamy dressings. And for dinner, a nice bowl of homemade soup with the beef broth and boiling extra bones. It takes a lot of work, but that's what my wonderful husband is for. He makes the best soup. And if you can stay consistent, if you can kind of eat the same things but maybe switch a little bit around, then it'll help you keep track too. I hate calorie counting, and if I'm eating something different every day, then I have to look it all up and write it down and see how much of this is in there or how much protein is in there. So if you're able to tolerate eating kind of the same menu every day, then that's ideal. It'll help you keep track way easier. And so basically just eat low carb, and then you're able to, I eat maybe 50 to 100 grams now. I'm still kind of low, but people might be wondering, okay, well, if I'm burning fat, then how am I not burning muscle? And that is a really good question, because if you are doing an extreme diet, which I would not recommend, you can definitely burn some muscle. So a good idea is to work out. I work on this machine for a half hour every morning, and it keeps my muscles, it keeps them growing. And I also do about a half hour walk, a half hour to an hour every day. You really don't need to do a lot. I did a lot in the beginning, mind you, but it's so easy to maintain once you're there. And once you get out of the mindset, and don't fall for those gimmicky Atkins diet bars or those 100 calorie treat bags, because I was a binge eater and I still really need to watch that. So if I get a box full of 50, 100 gram bags of chips or whatever, then they're going to be gone in an afternoon. And before you know it, you've eaten 2,000 calories. And so try to avoid anything gimmicky, anything that says, here's a healthy treat, here's a healthy snack. If you really want something, make it yourself. You know what's going into it, and you know that there's, the amount of processing, or it's generally good just to stay away from processed food. Anyways, even if you're not trying to lose weight, it's always good. Go to the butcher, get a nice steak, cut up some vegetables, some asparagus, and if you have any questions, definitely send them below. Put in a comment. The link to my site, the Healthy Connect blog, is also below there. You can go to the About page, and I have my email there. So if you want to talk, I'm here to help. I really want to see you guys succeed, because I know the difference. Nothing tastes as good as success feels. It really doesn't. So again, also take a look at the Custom Keto Diet plan I've added to these links. It's a great program. It gives you 8 weeks of a menu. So after 8 weeks, you pretty much know what to eat, and you can start incorporating and switching it up on your own. But it's a great way to get started. So please check that out. I also have a link for Thrival Health in my links, and that is a company that I started also to bring to you the absolute best health products on the market that I've either tried or that I have high confidence in. So maybe one of those can help you too. In the meantime, thank you for listening to my very first vlog. Please be kind, and maybe I'll put up some more of these. Maybe I'll put up a couple a month. We'll see. All right. Until then, stay healthy.